What's up, guys? Welcome to my bedroom where we're going to get a little bit technical. We're going to learn some things or two about Notion and make.com. So the idea for this video was actually given to me by a comment. So I'm actually very happy for this. A guy requested if I could show him how to take a video file from Notion and pop it onto Google Drive automatically. So that's what I've done here. I've made a nice little scenario, and there's some interesting things that we're going to run into. So let's jump over, let's do this together, and let's expand our minds, our brains. Let's get better at this productivity automation stuff. All right, so here we go. We're going to look at this make.com scenario which I've built. I'm going to briefly talk through it now, and then I'm going to delete every single module, and I'll build it all with you so you can kind of follow along step for step. I'll also be nice, and I'll put the template in the description, so if you want to take that and use that as the foundation of your own solution, then feel free. So what have we got here? We are basically looking at a four-step solution where we're going to find some new video files. We're going to convert those files from URL to binary. Oof, scary words, but they'll make sense once I get through to it. And then we're going to upload that to Google Drive, and then we're going to update the video file row in Notion a couple of different ways so that we can know the state of things. So let's jump over to Notion and have a look at this. So here's just a database. I recommend doing this in a database, not a page. I recommend doing everything that is structured and additive in Notion in a database, because it's much easier to access and to change and to keep everything nice and organized. So here is a video files database that I've just made for the purposes of this video, and we're just gonna take this item and pop it into Google. So it's just a quick screen grab that I recorded. Maybe we can even have a look at it if Notion doesn't take a million minutes to load. You get the idea. Okay, it's taking ages to load. Right, just a little video, okay? So we have two interesting properties. We've got an uploaded to Google Drive checkbox, which we're going to use in our automation to help us keep track of the state. And then we've got a Google Drive link, which when we have uploaded the file to Google Drive, we're going to pop the reference to that file right here, so that then we can just easily grab the Google Drive and look at it here. We could even, in the automation, delete this video if we wanted to. If we wanted to keep our workspace using less data, if that's an issue. But I'll just show you a pretty simple way to do it for this one. So let me jump back over to here. This upload to Google Drive step here, there is a caveat, right? So when you upload stuff to Google Drive, you can use a @Gmail account as your Google Drive account, but that's going to give you a bit of an error. It's going to give you a permissions thing, which if you're looking at this video, you might be wondering like, yeah, that's what I'm stuck on. So we're going to get through that. But for the purposes of just keeping this nice and succinct, I'm first going to show you what happens when you use a business email address account. So like not a gmail.com account, because then you don't run into these permissions. So we'll go through that way, and then at the end, if you're one of those people who's stuck on this permissions issue in Make, we'll go through the permissions. We've got to use Google Cloud Console and all this fun stuff. So I've not done it in a while, but my memory's pretty good on it, so we can go through that together. All right. So let's just delete all these. In fact, you know what? Hey, you can tell I've prepared this video in advance. All right, let's show you it working, shall we? Okay, here we've got a screen grab. We've got a video file, and I'm going to hit the run button just to show you what's going on here. So if we go back, look how quick that is. We've got a uploaded to Google Drive checkbox is ticked, and we've got the link here. If we copy that link and have a look, we can go straight to the position in our Google Drive instance and have a look. There it is. There's the file. And if we just refresh this, then we can see it right there, screengrab.mov. Okay, so we know it's working. Now let's tear it down and build it together. So the first thing we need, let's not rebuild the first one because it's whatever. Notion search objects. This is what you're going to use to get a database item. So what you want to do is you want to pop either your database ID, if you know how to grab that. If you don't, check out my video on how to grab a Notion database ID. I'll put it in the description. If not, though, you can just come in here and click search and just type in your database. What the hell is mine called again? Video files. And then if it's the exact match in terms of the wording, it will just pop the database ID right in there. If not, you'll have a little drop down to select from. And then right here, the filter. This is what we're going to have a look at now. We only want to pull in the latest items, right, where the checkbox uploaded to Google Drive is false, because obviously they're the ones that have not been done yet. So that's all this filter is doing. We're doing an upload to Google Drive checkbox. And then here we have to be specific with the checkbox type and make. So it can't just be any old equals. You've got to be a little bit careful here. You see when on this drop down, you've got these gray dividers. These dividers and everything below that represent the type of data. So you want to come down to checkbox and hit equals. This ain't going to work if you're going to do text or something. So don't be a silly person. And then come in here and hit false. And again, this might work if you type false. I'm actually not 100% sure of that, but use the booleans that make.com provides. If you don't know what boolean is, it's just a data type that can only be true or false. Now you can sound smart when you go to the pub with your friends. So click false there. Click the amount of limit you want. I don't know, 50, whatever. This just tells Make how many can I look at each time that my scenario runs. In our case, we're going to run every 1 hour, which is totally dependent on you. Okay, so step number 2. That was a pretty easy step, right? Step number 2, we are going to use the native HTTP module, which has got some really fun things in it, including this get a file action. So before you do anything, right, in Make, here's a little tip for yourself and for anyone else that you're working with inside Make scenarios. Give it a good name. Because you might be coming back to this scenario when it breaks in 9 months' time, and you're like, ugh, what's going on? So give it a good name. So we're going to call this convert file from URL to binary data. Because if we have a look inside the result of what happens in the search objects module, and check it out. We're going to look into here. We get a video file. Let's look into the file. Here we go. We just get given a URL, which is pretty standard behavior by a lot of these services. So Notion is basically saving that video that we uploaded. Where is it? This one. It's saving that video into what looks like an Amazon S3 bucket. If you don't know what that is, doesn't matter. But they're just giving you a reference to that file. So you need to be able to take that URL, which, if we have a look at it, will just be a file. Let's have a look at that together. Zoom out. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, okay. It's a file with automatic action to download, but you get it, all right? It's just somewhere where Notion has decided to put or host that video. So we need to change that from URL into actual data, because that's what Google Drive wants us to feed it. It doesn't want us to feed it a URL. It wants us to feed it data. So we're going to do a conversion with this get a file HTTP module. We're just going to pass it the URL. So we're going to map that in, which is down here. We're going to get the file URL right there. Bosh. Man, this zooming stuff, I'm doing it for you guys, but it really trips me out. All right, that's done. So let's test it. Test every step of the way when you're building a Make scenario so that you don't lose your freaking mind. In fact, let's reset this to be blank so that we've got a fresh slate to work with. Pardon me a second. I'm just going to delete this file so we can start from fresh. All right, cool. Let's run it. Now, what that has done it's taken that URL that we passed it, all this stuff up here, and it's turned it into data, which looks mental, right? This is called a buffer, or whatever you want to call it, binary data. This is the underground of the internet. This is what everything is made of. It's all just zeros and ones, and sometimes 6Ds and 6 4s. Every time you send a little message to somebody on Instagram, every time you send an inappropriate selfie to somebody, it's all just zeros and ones, baby. All right, so we've done that now. We've got our binary data. Now we are ready to go to step 3, which is Google Drive. Upload a file. Again, what did I just teach a second ago? Before you start messing around in here, give this a name, if it lets you. It's okay, sometimes it doesn't. Here we go. So we're just going to call this upload a file. Doesn't matter if the name is only slightly different than what the description says here, but do it for consistency's sake, for your own sake, for other people as well. So here we go. Here is what I was talking about before, your connection. I am actually connecting to my Google Drive file on my business Gmail. As you can see here, it's a .biz ending. Now, if you do this, Google's fine with you. It likes you. It doesn't give you a permissions issue, but if you're trying to do this on like your personal account, which is probably a something@gmail.com, you're going to get a restrictions issue here to do with scopes. And we're going to, at the end of the video, if you're one of these people, we're going to fix that together. But for now, let's assume that it's working or that you're using a non-Gmail account. We're going to select the folder from the list, easiest way. For me, I'm just doing this Notion video files. And then we want to map. And we want to get rid of this stuff, which is auto-filled for us. And you want to kind of think about your file name here. I tend to use dates so that you can sort them nicely inside Google Drive, or you use numbers. There's plenty of different ways to do this, but for the sake of simplicity, let's just call the file name what it's called in Notion. Let's call it, this right here. So where is that? That is down here in properties value, plain text. There we go, screen grab. Here's the data. So now we can reference that blue module and just pass it all these zeros and ones, and it's going to really like that. So let's test this out. Let's save and test. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I think we're good. You see how nothing's changed here yet though, because we haven't added that last step, which is to do with all the updating of this row. But if we look over here, oh my gosh, 1358, 1358, you get it. We have got a video, and it's a .mov. If we check it out, the video no longer exists. What? Why, you was feeding me lies, Google. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Dun, 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 dun. What is actually going on here? Hold on, guys. I'm going to pause it. If I can remember how to pause. Of course it's not working. I mean, it's a very unhelpful error message from Google. The video no longer exists. That's not the real reason. It's because I, like a numpty, didn't put the file name extension. So let's go back to here. I just gave it a file name, right? That's not good. What is happening here? Okay, let me refresh this. You ever have like ghosts in your internet? You just don't know what's going on. Like right now. I'm supposed to have good internet here. Come on. All right. When this loads, the lesson will continue. Upload a file. What in the Lord is happening? So make is insane sometimes. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. If it does this, do a hard refresh. I'm going to pause, fix my life. I'll come back. Okay. Make is working again. If you've ever used Make for more than, I don't know, a day, you might encounter some strange bugs. To be fair, it might not be Make. It might be because I'm using this new weird screen recording setup with new hotkeys. But anyway, I digress. The point is here, in upload a file, I was a silly person, and I just put the file name here, right? this is not good enough. With files and transfer across the internet, you've got to be specific. So in our case, it's a .mov. So let's try that again. Let's just reset the state in case we need to. Notion. Had to close that just in case that was messing things up. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. Let's run this thing. Run this thing. Okay. Hope you guys enjoy it when I show you these absolute mess ups, because you can see that I'm not nowhere. I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do, but stuff goes wrong even for the best of us. Right, here we go. Screen grab .mov. Here we go. Yes! Life is good. So you get it. We've got video. Be careful with the extensions. Don't miss it out like me. Hopefully that helped some of you. And the last module. We're about to take it down together. Okay, so we're good. We are pulling files, only the latest ones, converting the file from URL to binary data, uploading it in a way that Google likes with an extension. And then what we need to do is reference this first Notion module and update it. So we're going to update a database item. Give it a good name. I'm going to say update checkbox state and add drive URL. Okay? Be very explicit. Be super explicit. Be annoyingly explicit, because like I said, again, you might look at this in 9 months' time. One small thing, I haven't even touched upon this because I've talked about it many times in previous videos, but if this is your first time to the channel, when you are using the connection with Notion module, just make sure that the connection that you're using, so in my instance it's called the make integrator, make sure that the page that you're accessing is set up so that the integrator that you're using can actually edit it and have access to do the things that you need it to do in the database. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, or if you're confused, then check out my other video on the channel, which is how to connect make.com and Notion together, and that will solve this problem. But just a quick aside, in case you're struggling on that. Okay, so the database ID, let's just select from the list. We're going to search for it. It is called video something, so we just can type and it should give us a nice drop down. Okay, it just actually assumed, is that even the right database ID? 5D3. Let's double check against the first one. 5D3. Yeah, 5D3. Okay, so it found it. Oh, come on, make. Come on, make. Video. So here, all we're going to do is update those two properties. The checkbox to say that, yeah, we've got it, we found it. But before we need to do that, we need to grab the database item ID from this first module here, which, let's collapse all these down in the flow. The database item ID is just the page ID. Don't put the database ID, that's not going to work. That's the reference for the whole database, we don't need that. So we don't want to change the name, we don't want to mess with the video file, although, I think I mentioned this at the start of the video, if you did want to like clear this out, because you now already have a reference to it and you've uploaded it elsewhere, you could probably, let's try it. Video file. Let's try using a null. Trying things live here. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, but what I'm trying to do with this is I'm trying to delete this out of our Notion workspace to save on duplication. But if this doesn't work, then just ignore this video file property. But the Google Drive link we are interested in. So we get the link from the module 8 in this instance, the yellow one, and we come down and it is somewhere. It's here, web view link. That is the link that gives you access right to the item. And then we don't need to care about that. Oh yeah, sorry, we do. Brain fart. Upload it to Google Drive. We want to change this to yes. So hit OK. And then, ladies and gentlemen, let's test this out. So we've got nothing. Sorry, let's get rid of this old one so we keep it nice and clean. Yeah, Let's refresh the page. Okay. Let's run it, baby. Run once. We've got an error. So I think that is to do with me trying to nullify. Yeah, trying to nullify this. Null just means like a representation of nothing in data land, but it's not working. So, but you got to try things. This is how you grow as a person. Okay, let's try again. We have now got to delete the extra file. Yeah, let's delete the most recent one just to keep it clean. Nothing else. All right, let's run this again. Let's go, 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 let's go. Good. Okay, so now we have uploaded the file, as you can see here, 1410. And this is now saying that we've checked the box and we've got a Google Drive link, which if we take and have a look, it will send us straight to the resource. Would you look at that? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? All right. So, guys, if you are one of those people that has not had any permissions issues with your Google Drive module, this one, then you're done. Just if you like this and you got some value out of it, give me a thumbs up, maybe a subscribe as well, because I'm about to do a big push now. I'm becoming a bit more of a YouTuber. I really want to start pushing on this and other channels as well, because I've got a lot of things in mind and I really love doing this as well. So yeah, if you want to support me, subscribe, please. But for the people who are stuck on this part, right, now is my time to show you how to fix that. So see you later, those people, and then welcome to part 2, other people. Okay, right. So welcome to the technical part. We're going to go through trying to solve this if you are going to use a personal Gmail account. Now, I do recommend just not using a Gmail account because you have to go through this process, and you're going to see you might have to keep reauthorizing the connection every week unless you put your app that we're going to make now into production status. So there's a few things that you need to be aware of. So I would just straight up recommend try to use a non-Gmail account. It's going to be better. But if you're desperate to use it, then follow this and we'll get it done. So if you can see here, my connections are just like my business one. So let's try to. We're basically gonna add a new one. Now, if you do this, you're gonna get an error. So let's just try it. So if I change the connection name to my personal Gmail and then just try to sign in with that, we're going to get a lovely red error once we try to give access. Here we go. It is not possible to use restricted scopes with customer@gmail.com accounts. For more information on how to do this, visit our documentation. And then it repeats itself again for some reason, but hey. So this is the error that is kind of confusing. And to be fair, the make documentation is pretty good, and it's what I'm going to use as a guide. But I've made one of these apps about a month ago, so it's kind of still fresh in my head. So let's get over this together. We need to go to googlecloud.com. Actually, it's probably not googlecloud.com. Just type in Google Cloud, cloud.google.com, and come here. This is basically where you can set up authorizations and OAuth clients, if you know what they are. But if you don't, doesn't matter. Go to the console up top here. And what we want to do is we want to start by creating a new project, like a new space. So come up here and hit new project. Give it a name. We can just call it, I don't know, make scenario. Well, let's give it a better name, like, Notion to Google Drive. Auth, right? Auth stands for authentication. We're going to create that, and it's going to spend a couple of moments thinking about creating it. It's got to spin up some servers and do some fun things. And then once that's done, we're going to go into the project. So once you're in the project, you're going to see up here, you're in the project. Make sure that you're doing it and not in some other one that you might have set up. So we want to go into the dashboard. What's the first thing we need to do? We need to go to the APIs overview right here in the middle. And we need to enable some APIs. So as you can see here, we've got like a little warning. You don't have any APIs available yet to use. Go and set some up. So we need to set up the Google Drive API. Let's look for it. This top one here will do. I think it's the general one. Come in here and hit this nice blue button. Wait for it to enable some stuff. Oh, Gatorade. So good. Okay, then it's going to come through to here, and you are good. So now, come over to credentials. No, credentials is last. We're going to set up our OAuth consent screen. So click on OAuth consent screen, and we're going to set up our OAuth app. So click external, hit create. Use the same name that we used for this whole thing. So Notion to Google Drive Auth. You've got to put an email in there, so just put your own. Don't worry about all this kind of stuff. Authorized domains is important. It's part of essential config. So they are, you need two in here. You need make.com, just like that. And you need make's old name, which is Integromat. For some of those old people like me out there who know that make used to be called horribly named Integromat.com. It sounds like a freaking laundry service. So once you've done that, you also need to put same address. This is just to get past the config. Hit save and continue. Here we go. So now the important part of this, adding or removing scopes, which like I mentioned before, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It's kind of like saying what doors Google can enter into your Google Drive workspace. So we want to go to add or remove scopes, and again, this is specific, and I'm going to put all these in the description, but the auth that you need, it looks a bit like well, it is, it's a URL. So grab the URLs in the description, and this is one of them. So you paste this right in here, and then just select it. Then close this window by clicking out, and then actually select it like that, and hit update, and you're going to see it pop down here. Your scopes have been updated. So that's one, and the second one, again, grab it from the description, or just pause the video, is this one. Close that window, hit this, update. So now you've got two, and it kind of tells you what it's doing. You can see, edit, create, download all your stuff. Save and continue. Okay, and then this is referencing that kind of tricky part of this whole situation of using a personal email address. Test users, you've got to add yourself as a test user. So just add your own email address that you're planning to log in with, right? So basically your Google account. Hit add, it should appear here. You might have to hit add twice, it's a bit buggy. Save and continue there. Yes, okay, now we're good. Back to dashboard, and then we need to, okay, yeah. So look, here is the overview of our app. Can you see here, testing? We've kind of created like a test app for ourselves, and I think in make.com, you might have to like reconnect every week, which is obviously a bit annoying if you want this to be a long-term thing. So if you are dead keen on using your personal email and not a non-Gmail one, then you're going to have to publish your app if you want to make this a bit more of a nicer UX for yourself. There's a few steps that you need to go through. I think Google just want to make sure that you're like, like a legitimate identity or whatever. So you need to go through these steps and publish your app. And Google will, it's kind of like submitting your app to like the Apple App Store or something. They need to check it and check some details. It might take, a few days, a few weeks, whatever. But if you're dead set on doing it, that's the way. But for our purposes, we're just going to keep it as a test app and keep our test user as ourselves. Then, final step of this, we're going to go to the credentials, and we're going to hit up here, create credentials, and we're going to do an OAuth client ID. Make sure it's a web application. Let's use the same name, just keep some nice consistency. And then we need to add one URI right here, which is, again, I'll put this in the description. You can just pause the video if you want to there. It's this one right here. It's for Google Drive. Hit create. Okay, now you're going to get this screen. Don't click away. You need to save your client ID and your client secret. Save it somewhere. I won't bother though because I'm going to delete this straight away. But this is now going to enable us to connect to Make. So let's jump back over to our scenario and we're going to try connect to my personal Gmail. So we're going to add a new connection. I'm going to give it a good name. And then instead of hitting sign in with Google, we're going to go down to advanced settings. I'm going to pop that client ID right there. I'm going to grab the secret, pop that right there. Then hit sign in with Google. Then sign in with the test user, basically your own Google account, your gmail.com suffix. Hit that. And then it's going to say, look, Google hasn't verified this app. This is why this whole publishing status thing was there before. So actually, don't get tripped up here. It's telling you, like, go back to safety, but no, we want to continue. Want to hit continue, and then be sure to hit this checkbox up here where you can let it do all the things that we wanted it to do with those scope permissions. Then wait for it to verify. Boom, we're done. So now you can, go into your folders inside your Google Drive personal and just basically do the same thing as the majority of the setup of this video and it will work. But like I said, you may need to kind of re-authenticate this every week, which again is annoying because it kind of defeats the purpose of this automation. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that, so just you're on your own here a little bit, figure it out. But if it does require frequent re-authentication, then just publish it and try getting it published. And then once it's published, you've got your own sick little automation here. So guys, thanks for sticking with me for this video. I hope that was really helpful. It's a cool little automation. I love using Notion as the foundation powerhouse to kind of jump out and create cool automations to all the other services that you use. So let's I've forgotten how to speak. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and have a good day. See you later.